Hiya, how you doing? We're going to get started. We're going to do a class today that's going to explore three-legged dog, so the movements associated with three-legged dog. There's going to be a lot of shoulder work, there's going to be some core work, there's going to be some leg and hip stuff as well. So the whole body moving towards three-legged dog. For props, I am going to be using a dowel. So if you don't have a dowel on hand, you could probably use a broomstick. That would be fine. We're not going to do a lot of dowel work, but a little bit. I have cork blocks here. My preference is cork blocks, but it doesn't matter. And then a blanket and a bolster, primarily to cushion the earth at various times. So you can have all of these props. You can have none of them. You can figure it out, whatever works for you. We're going to begin on the belly, so I will bring you there and then I'll probably come out of it. You're going to come to lay on the belly, finding a crocodile pose. Stacking the hands, bringing the forehead to rest on the back of the hands. And then setting the feet in a position so that you can really just begin to settle into the earth. Taking a few moments to find your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Starting to move the breath into back body. So as you inhale, becoming aware of the sensation of the earth on the belly, and using that sensation, using the resistance of the earth to really move the breath into the back body, the space between the low ribs and the rim of the pelvis. And then you can increase the tension a little bit by pressing the tops of the feet into the earth, by pressing the hips into the earth. Notice how that changes sensation. Taking a few more moments here. Perhaps becoming aware of the movement of the diaphragm. Perhaps becoming aware of the sensation of intra-abdominal pressure. So as the diaphragm pushes down on inhale, the organs have to move out of the way, and it creates this internal pressure, moving the organs, creating more space on back body, finding that length of back body. After another round or two, another breath or two, as you're ready, just allow the knees to bend and windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Feeling the movement of the legs move the pelvis, perhaps becoming aware of the rotation of the spine. As you're ready, returning the tops of the feet back to the earth, return to your breath, pressing the tops of the feet down. Can you find a few rounds of pelvic tilts here? So tucking and untucking the tailbone. You may be very aware of the resistance of the earth in this shape that limits the movement of the pelvis. That's okay. Just do the best you can, becoming aware of the sensation within the body. After another round or two, you can let that go. Again, you can bend your knees, windshield wiper your legs from side to side. If that feels good, if there's any other kind of movement you'd like to take here, you're welcome to do that. As you're ready, you're going to use that movement to roll yourself to your back. Bring the soles of the feet to the earth. Knees are bent. Returning to your breath. When you're ready, return to your pelvic tilts. So this is a more common version of pelvic tilts. Really feeling the pelvis rocking on the earth. Noticing how the movement of the pelvis impacts the spine. So you start to become aware of spinal flexion when you're pressing the low back down into the earth, curling the tailbone up towards the knees. And then spinal extension with the back of the pelvis pressing down and the low back lifts off the earth. And then see if you can pause at the midway point, halfway between spinal flexion and extension. Notice if you can engage some muscles of the belly to hold that. Can you find your pelvic tilts while maintaining neutral spine? That halfway point between extension and flexion. For the next few rounds, see if you can initiate the movement from the belly. So more work in the belly, less work in the legs. And then for the next few rounds, do more work in the legs to find your pelvic tilts, less in the belly. The belly still has to effort to maintain neutral spine. But see if you can get the legs to do the work, or a little bit more. As you're ready, you're going to pause in that pelvic tilt. Tailbone curls towards the ceiling between the knees, pressing the low back down into the earth. Can you use that action to slowly peel yourself up off the earth, coming into a hip bridge, feeling the glutes engage, reaching the knees away from you. Think about pulling your heels towards your head, beginning to activate the hamstrings. And then slowly roll back down, one vertebra at a time. As you're ready, continue on your own. So rolling up into a hip bridge, and then rolling back down. Beginning to articulate the spine here. Feeling the legs engage, the belly engage, feel the glutes engage. Let's take one more round, rolling down. You're going to roll up into your hip bridge and pause. Pressing the feet into the earth, feeling the glutes engage. See if you can maintain neutral spine, so not really pushing the belly or the chest up. You're going to start to step your right foot away, and then your left foot away. Step your right foot a little further away. The toes may start to point towards the ceiling. Your left foot, your right foot, your left foot, keeping your pelvis elevated. And now step your right heel back in, and then your left, right, left, maybe one more, right, and left, bringing the feet back to the earth. We're going to do that again, starting with the left side, keeping your hips as elevated as possible. So you're going to start to feel them drop, but do the best you can, stepping your left foot away, and then your right, your left, your right, one more here, your left, and your right. Let's pause, and then back in, left, right, left, right, left, and right. Slowly roll back down. Good. Set the feet a little bit wider. Let the knees rock from side to side. And then we'll pause, reset the feet. We're going to do that one more time. So pull the belly in, press the back down as you curl up into your hip bridge, feeling the glutes engaged to support you. And then on your own, step, starting with the right side, the right foot steps, the left foot meets it. Slowly walking the feet away. as far as you can, with legs partially extended or mostly extended. Pause, pressing the hips to the ceiling, and then the right foot, left foot starts to come in. You start to feel the hamstrings activate. Pause in your hip bridge, pressing the hips up, and then starting with the left foot stepping away, and then the right. Left and right. Try not to let the hips come back to the earth. Pause, hips lifted, and then walk back in, starting with the left foot. When you're ready, lower the pelvis, step the feet wide, let the knees rock from side to side. As you're ready, you can allow the knees to drop to one side. You're going to roll back to your belly. Reset yourself up on your mat. Bring the palms of the hands underneath the shoulders. Arriving on your belly, you're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders with the elbows lifted. You're going to press the tops of your feet into the earth. Press your hips down. Press your chest into the earth and keep your head heavy. The forehead is resting on the earth. From here, hover the palms of the hands. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, pressing the front body down. And then return the hands to the earth. Take a breath. We'll do that again, pressing the front body down, hover the hands. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Try to create more space between the palms of the hands and the earth. Now as the hands come back down, you're going to push without lifting. So feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. The front body gets heavier. Pressing the feet, the hips, the chest down. The head is heavy. Hover the hands. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Again, push without lifting. Feel that tension on back body. Feel the arms engage. Hover the hands. And now push. Start to push with the hands, maybe push through the knees. Push yourself right up into the table pose. Arriving in table pose, setting yourself up. When you arrive, just begin to move on your own. You can shift forward and back. You can circle the hips. Perhaps moving into cat and cow. Becoming aware of sensation. And then pausing in a still table pose. Shift your weight into your left hand. Just circle around your right hand and wrist a few times, first in one direction and then in the other. Trying to bring every aspect of the hand to touch the earth. The right hand comes down. We'll take the second side, circling around the left hand and wrist. And reversing the direction. Bring the left hand down. We'll do the same with the ankles, extending the right leg out behind you. Push the ball of the foot down as you circle around the foot and ankle, smushing, as Cecily says. Looking to bring every aspect of the foot to touch the earth. Let's reverse the direction. And then the right knee comes down. Take the second side, extending out through the left leg. Pressing the foot into the earth, trying to keep that left knee straight. That adds a little bit of load. Let's reverse the direction. Bringing the knee back to the earth. Walk the hands back, coming into upright. You're going to press the hips forward, cross the arms in front of the chest, gaze down to lean back. And come back up. Trying to avoid back bend here. Let's take a few rounds. Gazing down to lean back. Leaning back. And up. Leaning back. One more time. Lean back. And come back up to upright. Releasing the arms. Step your right foot forward. You can have hands on earth or hands on blocks. You're welcome to cushion underneath your left knee. We're going to begin to take some movement here, shifting forward and back. Find your full range of motion, using the blocks for support as needed. And then when you're ready, leaving the blocks behind, see if you can move through that range of motion, just using the strength of your legs. And then we're going to pause in an upright low lunge, stacking your hips over your back knee. You can bring your hands to your front knee. Take a few rounds of pelvic tilts, tucking and untucking the tailbone. Pausing at the midway point, let's take a few side-to-side action, a pelvic swing. And then you're going to pause, grab your dowel, set yourself up in this upright low lunge. Your hips are stacked over your back knee. Your right foot's under your right knee. You're going to reach your arms out in front of you. So all of this is just to stabilize. Feel yourself hugging in to find that stability and security. You're going to reach your arms out in front of you. Imagine you're breaking the dowel in half. So it's an external rotation of the arm bones. We're going to start with protraction and retraction here. So you're pushing the dowel forward and then pulling it back, keeping the elbows straight the whole time. Let's do one more. Push and pull. And now find neutral, breaking the dowel in half, find the external rotation of the arm bones. You're going to lift your shoulders and lower the shoulders. Lift and lower. Let's take one more. Lift and lower. Again, find neutral. Find the tension in the arms, external rotation. Find a few rounds of scapular circles. So putting those pieces together. Push, lift, pull, lower. Reversing the direction. Trying to keep your elbows straight the whole time. And then push the dowel forward. Imagine you're breaking it in half. You're going to lift the dowel above the head. And lower. Try to keep the rest of your body relatively still. So try not to compensate in the spine. We're looking to increase the range of motion in our shoulders here. You're going to pause. Start to pull your hands apart. You're going to pull more strongly with the right hand, leaning to the right. Keep pulling your hands apart so the left hand is resisting. And then back to upright. Pull more strongly with the left, resisting with the right. And then back to upright. Pause here. Push the dowel to the ceiling. Let your right knee begin to glide towards the front of the room. If you want, push up a little more and then maybe begin to tip back, finding a little bit of a back bend. Coming back to upright, lowering the dowel. We're going to step the right leg back and then step the left leg forward, taking the second side. So just beginning with a little bit of movement. Feel free to cushion underneath the right knee. Feel free to use blocks underneath your hands. Noticing how this feels in the body. And then perhaps you begin to experiment with lifting the hands off the earth. Can you find that full range of motion? Just using the strength of your legs. And then we'll pause, stacking your hips over your back knee, strong through the legs. Take a few rounds of pelvic tilts here. Tucking and untucking the tailbone. Good. And then we'll pause, find your pelvic swings, side to side. Try to keep the rest of the body relatively still. And then you're going to pause at the halfway point. Find your dowel so the legs are strong and stable, not perfectly still, but relatively still. We add the dowel. Imagine you're breaking it in half. Find the external rotation of the arm bones. Take a few rounds of protraction, retraction, stabilizing through the legs. And then pause. We'll add elevation and depression. And then pause. And now let's find scapular circle. So push the dowel forward, lift your shoulders, pull back, drop your shoulders. Continue on your own, starting to smooth out the edges. Let's reverse the direction. Feeling the sensation in the arms and the shoulders and the shoulder blades. Push forward, break it in half. So a lot of tension, muscular tension through the legs, through the arms as you lift the arms above the head and lower. Try not to compensate by moving into a back bend. Can you find that this is all in the shoulders? We're going to pause here, start to pull your hands apart. You're going to pull more strongly with the left, resisting with the right, but you're leaning to the left. Pull more strongly with the right, to lean to the right, resisting with the left. And then back to center. Push the dowel up, so get really long here. You can let your left knee begin to glide forward, and then maybe begin to lean back. Pressing through the left foot, shifting back, lowering the dowel. Step the left leg back, bring the hands to the earth in front of you. Find your table pose. Again, when you arrive, you can take a little bit of movement on your own. As you're ready, find your cat and cow. Strong through the legs, strong through the arms. And then pause in a still table pose, pressing through the hands, feeling the belly engage. Neutral spine, lifting the tip of the nose away from the earth. We're going to curl the toes and hover the knees. Breathing here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Try not to let your head drop. Try not to let your hips lift. See if you can lower the knees so they're just brushing the earth. We'll hold for 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees back to the earth. We're going to walk the hands back. We're going to take those lean backs again. So you're going to cross your arms in front of your chest, press your hips forward, tuck your chin looking down towards the earth, and then lean back without moving into back bend. One more like this, lean back, come back up. And now bring your toes to touch so your knees are wider than your feet. Press your hips forward, gaze down towards earth, lean back, come up. Let's do one more, lean back, and come up. Now, maybe you bring your knees a little bit closer, your feet a little wider, press your hips forward, tuck your chin, lean back, and up. One more, lean back, and come back up. Good, releasing the hands. You're going to step your right foot forward, and then you're going to turn to the left. So you're in this open shape with your right leg to your right. You're just going to move here, so you can shift right to left. You can again explore your range of motion using the blocks as needed. And then pause. Extend your right leg out long, toes to the ceiling, or if you prefer, you can find the internal rotation of your leg bone, bringing the sole of the foot to the earth. Reaching the arms out wide, press your hips forward. You're going to lean to the left, away from your right leg, and come back up. Let's take that a few times. See if you can keep your spine relatively neutral the whole time. Trying to avoid lateral flexion, side bend. Let's lean to the left. Bring your left fingertips to the earth, right fingertips extend to the ceiling. We're going to pulse the right leg up and down. Breathing here, keep pressing your hips forward, sliding your head back, And then bring your right foot down, come back up. Hinge at the hips to bring the hands to the earth. So we'll move here. You're in a table pose with your right leg extended out long. You can rotate that right leg bone to turn the toes towards the ceiling. And then bring the sole of the right foot back to the earth, pressing through the hands. Curl the toes of the left foot. Can you hover the left knee off the earth? Breathing here. Try not to let the head drop. Try not to let the hips lift. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the left knee to the earth. Walk the hands back. Find upright. Rebend the right knee and turn to face the right leg. You're going to need your blocks here. You're going to stack your hips over your left knee. You're going to extend your right leg out long. You're going to hinge forward at the hips, bringing the palms of the hands to the blocks, or you can work from the pads of the fingers. Pressing down, let's lift and hover the right heel. And lower. If that was relatively easy, go down a little bit lower. Maybe bring the palms of the hands to the blocks. Push down. Can you hover the right heel? And lower. Let's do 2 more. Lower if it's available to you, so lower the height of the blocks. If you choose, push down to hover. And release. 1 more time here. Push down through the hands to hover the right leg. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You may have gotten a really nice cramp in the quadricep there. So taking a little bit of movement. When you're ready, you're going to step your right leg back, step your left leg forward, and then we rotate. So you're turning your body to the right, so your left leg is to the left. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see me. From here, we begin to move. Side to side. You can sit back on the heel if you choose. Moving however you'd like. You can explore your own range of motion here, get a little creative, using the blocks as needed. And then we'll pause, extending the left leg out long. You can have toes to ceiling, or if you want to make it a little harder, it's an internal rotation of the leg bone to bring the sole of the foot to the earth. Press your hips forward, reach out through your arms. And then you're leaning to the right and back up. Take a few rounds on your own. Keep pressing the hips forward, leaning away from the extended left leg. Good. Lean to the right. Bring your right fingertips to the earth. Reach your left hand to the ceiling. You may want to bring a block underneath the right hand if you need a little bit of height here, that's fine. You're going to lift and lower the left leg, pulsing. Take a few more rounds. Keep pressing your hips forward, gliding the back of your head back. And then bring the left foot to the earth. Come back to upright. Now we're going to hinge forward at the hips. The hands come to the earth. We're going to take a little movement here. Shifting forward and back. Move however you feel, however you'd like at this point. Perhaps you're rotating the left leg bone to turn the toes to the ceiling. Notice how sensation changes. And then pause in a still table pose with your left leg extended out to the left. Pressing down through the hands, pressing down through the sole of the left foot. Curl the toes of the right foot. Hover your right knee. Breathing here. Try not to let your head drop. Try not to let your hips lift. Stay as close to a table shape as possible. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The knee comes down. Walk the hands back. Come back to upright. Turn to the left. So you're back in that lunge. You're going to need blocks. We'll extend the left leg out long. Start from the pads of the fingers or the palms of the hands. The lower you go, the more challenging this is going to be. So you may want to start up higher and then take it lower when you're ready. Pressing down, we hover the left heel. And lower. If you'd like, drop the hands down, drop the blocks. Press down, hover the left heel. And lower. You can reset the hands, the blocks if you choose. Push down, hover, and lower. We're gonna hover and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Take a little bit of movement here, moving the blocks out of the way. When you're ready, step your left leg back. Bring your hands to the earth, find your table pose. Take some movement when you arrive. Set yourself up in a strong and solid table pose. As you're ready, we're going to pause in table. Pressing through the hands, lift the tip of the nose away from the earth. You're going to allow your belly, your chest, and then your head to drop down as if you're deflated. Pressing through the hands, the knees, re-inflate right into table, pushing the earth away. Take that again. Deflate, dropping down, and then inflate right into table pose. Last time, deflate, inflate right into table pose, pushing the earth away, lifting the tip of the nose away from the earth. Let's return to our retraction and protraction of the shoulder blades. So then spine remains neutral, and you're feeling the shoulder blades slide together for retraction, slide apart for protraction. And then pause in neutral. Reset the spine, pull the shoulders towards the ears, and then away from the ears. So we have elevation and depression. Try not to let this movement impact the spine. So the belly has to be working strongly to maintain neutral spine the whole time. And then pause. We're going to find our scapular circle. So push the earth away, protract the shoulder blades, draw the shoulders to the ears. Retract the shoulder blades, pull the shoulders away from the ears. Take that again. Protract, elevate, retract, depress. On your own, can you smooth out the edges? So make a nice, smooth scapular circle. Reversing the direction, trying to maintain neutral spine, trying not to let the head drop. And then pause. Halfway in between all of those movements, really find a strong table pose. Curl the toes, hover the knees. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The knees come down. Shift the hips back. Child's pose. Take a breath or two in your child's pose. And then as you're ready, come forward to rest on the belly. You're going to need to make sure you move your props out of the way as you come forward, because we're going to do a little bit of arm work here. Arriving on the belly, you're going to reach your arms out like a T in each direction, so to the right and to the left. Press your front body down, your feet, your hips, your chest. Keep your head heavy. You're going to lift the palms away from the earth, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then lower them. Lift, squeezing the shoulder blades, and lower. Last time, lift, squeeze the shoulder blades, pause here. Make fists with the hands, and then find the external rotation of the arm bones and the internal rotation of the arm bones. Continue on your own. Keep pressing the front body down into the earth. Try to isolate this action in the arms. Sometimes you may feel the shoulder blades moving with the arms. Can you keep this just in the arm bones? And rest. Taking a breath or two. When you're ready, from your belly, you're still on your belly, you're going to reach your arms above your head, palms of the hands down, pressing the front body down. The feet, the hips, the chest press down, the head is heavy. From here, you're going to lift the palms of the hands away from the earth and lower without moving into back bend. Lift and lower, lift and pause. Make fists, find the external rotation of the arm bones and the internal rotation of the arm bones. So it's a little bit harder here. Take another round or two and rest. Now reach the arms behind you. You're going to start with the palms of the hands on the earth. I'm sorry, flip that. Palms of the hands to the ceiling, backs of the hands on the earth. Press the front body down, your feet, your hips, your chest. You're going to push your hands up and lower. Push up and lower. Last one, push up and hold. Start to reach your fingertips towards your heels, pressing your feet down, peel your head and chest off the earth. Breathing here. And release. I forgot rotation, so we're going to do that now. Pressing the front body down, push the palms of the hands up towards the ceiling, make fists. And now externally rotate the arm bones and internally rotate the arm bones. Take that a few times. Externally rotate and internally rotate. The next time you're in external rotation, you're going to pause. You should feel your shoulder blades squeezing together. You're going to open the hands, peel your head and chest off the earth. Pressing the hips down, squeeze the shoulder blades. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing to the earth. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press the front body down. Hover the palms of the hands off the earth. Peel your head and chest off the earth. Bring the hands to the earth. Find a little bit of leverage. Lifting into a back bend and then lowering. Once you come back down, reset the hands, finding a new placement for them. Push down to lift and lower. Continue on your own. Lifting and lowering on the breath. The hands don't even have to match. So maybe you extend one arm out long, bring one hand back, finding a little creativity here. Lowering to the earth. Pressing the front body down, hovering the hands, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Peel your head and chest off the earth. Bring your hands down, add your leverage, lifting into cobra, or perhaps an upward facing dog. Lowering all the way back down, pushing through hands and knees, find your table pose. But then we find a still and strong table pose, neutral spine. Lift the tip of the nose away from the earth, curl the toes, hover the knees, push the hands down and forward as you reach your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. You can take some movement, shifting from side to side, bending and straightening through the knees. As you're ready, walk your hands back. Bring your heels to the earth. Find a forward fold. Head is heavy. You can take some movement in this shape. Let the knees bend as you roll to standing stack of the vertebra. Shoulders, neck, and head are last to arrive. You're going to grab your dowel. Reaching the arms out in front of you. Grasping the dowel as if you're trying to break it in half. So we add a little bit of tension through the arms. From here, you're going to push the dowel forward. Now we bend the elbows, pull into the chest. So just push and pull. Finding the muscular tension to the rest of the body, so we're isolating this action in the arms. Push and pull. From here, push up and pull down. Allow the shoulders to elevate when you push the dowel to the ceiling. Again, strong through the rest of the body. Find that muscular tension, so it's just in the arms. We're going to push up and pause. Start to pull your hands apart. Pull more strongly with the right hand, resisting with the left. You can press your hips to the left, finding a side bend, lateral flexion. And then pull more strongly with the left hand, resisting with the right. Pressing your hips to the right. And then back up, push up. Start to press the dowel back, press your hips forward, find a little bit of a back bend Leaning back, strong through the legs. And then back up. Lowering the dowel. You're going to bring it behind your back. Palms of the hands to the ceiling. You're going to start to pull your hands apart as you pulse up and down. Stay strong through the rest of the body. Find that muscular tension. Keep pulsing. Can you start to squeeze your hands towards each other? They don't actually move, but you start to feel tension in different parts of the arms. Keep pulsing. And then lift the dowel as high as you can. Bend your knees. Hinge forward. Reach the arms up over the head. Take some movement here. And then pause. Lift the dowel high. Pull your hands apart. Start to come all the way to center. Keep the dowel lifted off the back. And now squeeze your hands towards each other. Can you pulse a little higher without impacting other parts of the body? One more. And release. Good work. We're going to lower the dowel to the earth. You're going to stand on your right leg. Step your left foot a few inches back as if you're adding just a kickstand. So the majority of your weight is in your right leg. Imagine you're in an escalator gliding forward. So you're going to bend your right knee and move forward and back. So we're looking to find deep flexion in your right knee and your right ankle. Forward and back here. The next time you glide forward, pause. You can bring your hands to your right knee, adding a little bit more load if you choose, and then circle that knee. First in one direction, and then reverse the direction. And then pause. Coming back to upright, you're going to step your left foot back a little bit further. So now imagine you're in an elevator. You're going to bend both knees to go straight down and up. Let's take a few rounds like that. Down and up. Perhaps you're bringing the left knee to touch. Perhaps it just hovers. Experiment with your range of motion here. How deeply can you go? Let's do one more. Down and up. You're going to turn to the left. Wide-legged forward fold, hinge at the hips, bring your hands to the earth or blocks. Take a little bit of movement here, shifting from side to side, bending and straightening through the knees. Again, you can get creative. You can turn your toes out. You can lift and lower the hips, whatever feels good at this moment in time. And then you're going to pause. In your wide-legged forward fold, press down through your feet. Think about pulling your heels back, driving your knees forward just enough so you can return the spine, return the back into that table shape, that long supported table shape. And then fold, lifting the hips, straightening the knees. You can let your head go. We'll do that again. Press down through your feet, pull your heels back, to drive the knees forward, lifting the torso, lifting the chest. Can you find neutral spine? The arms can hang, the hands can be on blocks. You can even bring your hands to your thighs and fold. One more, pull your heels back, drive your knees forward, use that to lift your chest, and then we'll come all the way to standing, turn to the right, bend both knees, find a strong tuck of the tailbone. Maybe you can bend the knees a little more deeply. Maybe you add the arms. Maybe you start to sneak your left foot back, coming into a more traditional lunge. Pressing through the feet, we stand. You're going to pull yourself with your right leg to step the left leg forward. We'll take the second side. So you're standing on your left foot. You're going to step your right foot back. Just enough so that you've got a little bit of support there, but the majority of your weight is in your left leg. You're going to bend the knees as if you're in an escalator. So you're gliding forward and back. So we're just experimenting, testing knee flexion and ankle flexion in that left leg. Let's do one more. Glide forward, pause, bring your hands to your front thigh if you choose, and then circle that knee. First in one direction, and then reverse the direction. And then pressing through the foot, we stand, step your right foot back a little bit further. You're going to bend both knees, go straight down and up. Down and up. Take a few more rounds on your own. One more. Down and up, then you're going to turn to the right. So you're going to wide-legged forward fold. Again, take some movement here, shifting from side to side. And then pause. Pressing through the feet, you're going to press through the feet, pull your heels back to drive the knees forward. See if you can find neutral spine. Feel free to have blocks underneath the hands for support. And then press the feet forward, lift the hips, extending the legs. Take that 2 more times. Pull the heels back, drive the knees forward, and fold. Last one, pull the heels back, drive the knees forward. Use that to come all the way to standing. You're going to turn back to the left side, so turning to the left. Bend both knees. Find the pelvic tilt, so tuck of the tailbone. Add the arms. Maybe start to sneak your right foot back. Breathing here. And then releasing the arms, extend through both legs. Find the pull of the left leg to step your right leg forward. You can shake out the legs, come to the back of your mat. Find your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. As you're ready, tuck your chin, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Taking a few breaths in your forward fold. Let the knees bend, walk the hands forward into a downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, allow for movement. As you're ready, come forward towards plank pose, lower the knees to the earth, return to table. When you get to table, take a little bit of movement, shifting from side to side, bending and straightening through the knees, circling the hips, any kind of movement here. Just to release a little tension, returning your focus to your own body. From a still table pose, we're going to do a little bit of wrist work here. So you're going to start to shift from side to side. As you do so, you'll peel one hand off the earth and then the other. And then perhaps you come to the back of the wrist. Perhaps you start to turn the fingers out or forward. So we're finding internal and external rotation of the arm bones. We're changing the shape of the hands. You can come to the pinky side. You can come to the fists. You can come to the thumb side. So you can really get creative here. If it's too much load on the hands, then just bring them a little closer to the knees. And then bring the hands back to the earth, fingertips pointing forward. You're going to lift your thumbs off the earth, press through the fingers. Can you lift the heels of the hands? And lower. Lift and lower. So you're keeping the fingers themselves on the earth. This work is just in the palms of the hands. Notice if you have a tendency as you work here to move into spinal flexion or to spinal extension. So do you compensate? Can you maintain neutral spine the whole time? Let's do one more. Lift and lower, and then return to this side, this rocking motion, exploring the different planes of the hands, bringing weight and load into new shapes. And then the hands come back to the earth, fingertips pointing forward. You're going to start to shift forward and back. So this is wrist extension that we're working towards now. The next time you lean forward, pause. See, notice the angle at the wrist. Start to lean back. As you do so, peel the palms of the hands off the earth. Can you maintain the angle of the wrists here? Pulling your fingernails towards your body, pressing the heels of the hands down so the elbows are straight. And then come forward. Pull yourself forward through the heels of the hands. Lean forward, and then lean back. Can you maintain the angle of the wrists? Let's do that again. Heels of hands press down, dragging yourself forward, and then lean back. Pause here, pressing the heels of the hands down, elbows straight. Tap the palms of the hands on the earth and lift. Tap and lift, tap and lift. Let's do a few more. Tap and lift, tap and lift. The whole palm hand comes down. One more. Tap and lift. Press the heels of the hands down. Pull yourself forward. Last time, just shift from side to side, changing the shape of the hands. Maybe coming to the backs of the hands. Rocking from side to side, you can rotate the arm bones. Sitting back on the heels, circle the wrist, maybe clasp the hands and circle. You can also just shake out the wrist, whatever feels appropriate. Bring the hands back to the earth. If your wrists are feeling a little bit funky now, feel free to slide your hands forward, maybe a little bit wider than your shoulders. Press the hands down into the earth. Feeling the front body engaged, lifting the tip of the nose away from the earth. Extend your right leg out behind you. Press down to the toes. Hover your left knee. And lower. Bring the right knee to the earth. We'll take the second side. Extend the left leg out. Push down to the toes to hover your right knee. And lower. Take a few rounds like that. So extending the right leg, feeling the contraction of front body, that engagement of front body to lift the left knee off the earth. Switching sides. So a lot of muscular tension through the front line of the body. One more time on each side. Press down to the right foot to hover the left knee. And lower. Press down to the left toes, hover the right knee. And lower. Bring the left knee down. This time as you extend the right leg out long, you're going to lift it. See if you can maintain that same energy through the front line of the body. Reach the left arm out. And then the right knee, left hand come down, second side. Extend the left leg, maintaining the strength through the front body, reaching out through the right arm. And lower. A few more rounds like that. So opposite arm and leg. Trying not to compensate by moving into back bend. So being honest about how high you can lift the arm and leg without moving into back bend. Let's do one more on each side. Right leg, left arm. And release. Left leg, right arm. And release. Curl the toes, hover the knees, lifting up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Coming to a still downward facing dog. Again, find the press of the hands and the feet down into the earth, pushing the hands forward, find length. Can you slowly lift the right leg without opening the hips, pressing the hands down and forward, reaching that right heel up and back, and then lower. Let's take the second side, pressing down to lift. And lower, right leg to lift, and lower. Last one here, left leg lift, and lower. Come forward to plank pose. Feel free to lower the knees to the earth, pause. We're going to lower all the way down, returning to the belly. Take a few breaths on the belly. When you're ready, you're going to return to crocodile pose. Stack your hands, resting your forehead on the back of the hands. Release your right hand, pressing your left side body down into the earth. You're going to bend your right knee, reaching back to take hold of the right foot. Pull the heel in, pressing the hips down, and then can you slowly release hold of the right foot without letting it fly back? Maybe you feel your hamstring engage. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Lower the right leg. Second side. Bend your left knee. Reach your left hand back. Take hold of the foot. Press your hips down as you pull your heel in. Slowly let go of your left foot. Try not to let it fly back. Feeling the hamstring engage. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Releasing. Bring your arms into a cactus or perhaps stop sign arm shape with the elbows bent, or maybe goalpost arms, however you think of it. You're going to bend your right knee. Push the foot to the ceiling and then start to cross your right foot behind you. Keep your right elbow grounded. So we're adding rotation here. And then slowly release. Second side, bend the left knee. Push the foot up, cross behind. Keep your left elbow grounded. And release. Knee comes down, foot comes down. You're welcome to take that a second time if you'd like. But moving on, we bring the hands to the earth. The palms of the hands underneath the shoulders. Press the front body down as you hover the hands. Peel your head and chest off the earth. Bring the hands down, find a little bit of leverage. Push the earth away to cobra or upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. So our last sequence here, you're going to, from downward dog, come forward towards table pose, lowering the knees to the earth. Again, feel free to take a little bit of movement when you arrive. You're welcome to slide your hands forward to take some load off and sensation out of the wrist creases. You're going to find a strong table pose, neutral spine, lift the tip of the nose away from the earth. Extend your right leg out behind you. Keep pressing down through the hands. So from here, can you rotate the pelvis to open and close the hips? Really be honest about this. Try not to move into back bend. So the belly is working strongly. Pressing through the hands, keeping the elbows straight. One more time. Open and close. Lower the right knee to the earth. Second side. Pressing through the hands, extending out through the left leg. Feeling the front body engage. You're going to open the pelvis and close. So you're pushing the right knee down to turn the pelvis to the left. We took about 5 or 6 rounds on the first side, so do that again. One more here. Lower the knee, curl the toes, downward facing dog. When you arrive, you can take a few moments to breathe, take a little bit of movement. We're going to explore that same action in a downward facing dog. If you choose, that opening of the pelvis can turn into a flip the dog shape. So for those of you who have a little bit more mobility and that's an easy thing for you to access, feel free to explore it. But for me, for myself, that's not something that I do. So from a downward facing dog, you can just explore lifting the right leg. And then from here, can you open the pelvis and close? It's as if you are rotating around your standing leg, your left leg. And if you pause in that open shape, try not to let the right leg move behind the body. Can you keep reaching the right heel long away from you? Close the hips, lowering the right leg. Take the second side when you're ready. Perhaps in there, you explore to flip the dog if that's part of your practice. So whenever you're ready from a downward dog, lifting the left leg. And then just finding that action of opening and closing. Really being honest, trying to isolate the movement just in the pelvis, nothing else moves. When you've had enough, lowering the left leg, breathing in downward facing dog, or perhaps settling into a child's pose. As you're ready, making your way to the earth, we'll come to the back. Bring the soles of the feet to the earth, find your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Step the feet wide. Just take a few moments where you let the knees rock from side to side. Feeling the movement of the legs impact the pelvis. So the legs move the pelvis moves the spine, the torso. See if you can continue to move the legs. So the knees still rock from side to side, but can you still the movement of the pelvis? Can you still the movement of the spine? And then we'll pause. Take a few breaths here. Experimenting with that 360 breath. Feeling the front body engage. So it's just a little bit of muscular tension. So you can move the breath into back body. You can remain in this shape. You can start to take this in another direction. So at this point, if there's anything else that you would like to do to close out your practice, please feel free. Or if you're ready to come to rest, you're welcome to do that as well. Using any props you need to support your body in rest. And then closing out your practice however you feel fit. So as we finish, you can continue in your own manner. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.